For every happy customer you have, I believe they will tell 10 people. For every customer you make mad, they will tell 100 people. Your clients all need to think that they are your only customer. No one is interested in how busy you are and why you do poor service or a poor job for them. So par for the course is as one would expect. So I get my truck back and I've done the research. Valve body is like a 4 to 6 hour job. And then a torque converter is like 6 to 8 hours total. So on the high end, 6 plus 8, what's that? 14. They did 14 hours worth of work on my truck in 10 weeks. If we have a client that doesn't like us, something didn't go good, it didn't go great, I say, yo, do not ask for a review, right? Be smart enough to not ask for a review. Like if you totally shit the bed, you didn't do a great job, just leave it. Say, hey guys, wish this would have worked out better. Is that fair? Like sometimes you're texting someone back and you run into a power pole. You're like, well, that was dumb. Let's not do that again, but let's not ask the power pole for a review on my driving skills. We just don't need that at dinner. Does that make sense? So this whole debacle happens. So they've done 14 hours worth of work on my truck. I haven't had my truck for 10 weeks. And they say, here's a review. We'd like to hear your thoughts on your experience. And so I was honest, like, I will not recommend you. I will never come back. I don't recommend you to my friends and family. I have nothing nice to say. You guys are terrible. The communication was awful. You didn't even do the work you're supposed to do to the truck, and I'm out. And then they call, surprise. Oh my gosh, what went wrong? I'm like, are you kidding me? You are so far removed from reality. You don't know how bad you treated me.
Yeah.
Like I ask a question, 3 days goes by before you respond. And she's like, well, can I have the service manager call you and see if we can make it right? I'm like, you know what? If you want to have a manager call me, by all means. I'm not trying to start a fight. Yeah, you did a terrible job. I gave you a review that was on par for the job you did. You asked for it. I wasn't going out there and trying to smear you. I'm just pissed off and go on my way, and it's like, okay, I know I'll never go back there. That's it. So she's like, okay, my manager's going to call you Monday morning. Think the manager called me Monday morning? How about Monday at lunchtime?
Nope.
Monday afternoon?
Nope.
How about Tuesday? Tuesday morning? Tuesday lunch?
Cigarettes.
No, go up to Tuesday at like 6 o'clock. Hey, yo! And I'm like, this is totally par for the course, dude. You said you'd call me Monday morning. And almost entire 2 business days later, you call me, right? All day Monday, all day Tuesday. And he's like, well, we're wrong. I'm like, well, you guys did 10 to 14 hours worth of work on my truck and it took you 10 weeks. Really? I'm like, yeah, I need my vehicle for work. And so, I said, hopefully you guys can learn from it. I don't know. I'll tell you what, I'll never be back. And he's like, well, we'll give you a free detail. We'll detail your truck for free. And I'm like, you think I'm going to bring it back to you? Well, you're going to take 2 weeks to detail it? You're going to sit in the lot for 11 days? Then you're going to think about it? Then you're going to forget about it? So it was pretty funny. But so it's like, dude, it's not, par for the course. So as expected. Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack there as far as service goes, right? Whether you are a server at a restaurant, or you're working in an auto dealership, or you're a home builder, or you're a landscape contractor, your clients all need to think that they are your only customer. No one is interested in how busy you are and why you do poor service or a poor job for them. Oh, I got so many clients, I just don't have time to find you the right home. Like, that's not impressive to your buyer. Your buyers, you go, okay, cool. I know not to come back. And if you are too busy, be honest and send them to someone else on the team. That was the last thing I told the manager. I said, dude, what would have been really nice, what I would have appreciated is, Adam, I got to be honest with you, man. We don't have time to do this job. We're not going to do a good job. We're way too busy, because he told me all the reasons they did a shitty job. And I'm like, why don't you just say, hey, man, you need to take your truck somewhere else this time. I would like them much more if they were honest with me and said, hey, the reality is we don't have time right now. It's going to take months, and there's no guarantee you're going to be happy. So I'd rather you go somewhere else and get taken care of than for us to be selfish and try to get all the money we can out of you, give you a terrible experience, and then instead of maybe you being neutral or being a fan, you're super negative, right? Because it is, for every happy customer you have, I believe they will tell 10 people. For every customer you make mad, they will tell 100 people. If I told you guys about all the good experiences I had at Dave's or like other places I've taken my vehicles, not really, but we're talking about creating like Ford doing a shitty job. So you have to keep that in mind, right? If Andre's got 10 A buyers, he doesn't have time to find houses for other people. He needs to say, hey, right now I'm too slammed to do a good job for you guys. Let me kick it over to Cody. Cody can take great care of you. Does that make sense? And like that's why we built a team, as it was consistently, guys, I'm too busy, so we're gonna have to have Ellen help you on this one. Hey, I'm not gonna do a good job for you finding you a home right now, but Jason can. So I'm gonna hook you up with my partner Jason, and that's like the whole point of a team. But being aware of the fact that your client wants to think that they are your only customer is super important. Because that's the worst thing you can do is give excuses about being too busy. That is a total turnoff. They're like, okay, well, I'll just find someone who's not too busy for me. Make sense? So your client's got to think you're their only customer. And obviously they know they're not. And most clients, like a lot of the people I chat with, I do my Tuesday updates. They're like, hey, Adam, we know you're super busy. We don't want to take a bunch of your time. Thanks for the update. It doesn't have to be some long drawn out conversation. Like they know I'm busy, but I never tell them, hey, I got to go. I got to make some more calls today, right? They get all the time they need. Like once they're good people. Now, if they're nut jobs like Andre had, taking hours at a house, that's a different scenario. Once you've established a relationship with these people. So only customer, remember that. And probably the other thing that they lacked big time was communication. When you ask a question and it takes someone 3 days to get back to you, does that make your customer feel like they're your only customer? It actually screams to them, you don't matter, you don't really exist in my world, and you're not important whatsoever. We're like, hey, any updates? 3 days go by, they're like, how distracted is this individual? Right, like, really? When your clients text you, right, you've got to set some parameters. You don't need to be responding to text messages at 9 at night or 4 in the morning, but maybe your hours are 7 to 7. And when a client texts you in that time frame, maybe they've got a question on, hey, how'd the showing go? Hey, I want to see this house. Or, hey, tell me, everyone wants to know, what's the story with this one? And it's like, dude, it's for sale. There's no story, right? I mean, how many of us get asked, hey, what's the story? It's been on the market for 3 days. And it looks like someone was stabbed to death on the carpet. Let me call the seller's agent. He's like, yeah, it's been on the market for 3 days and the carpet needs to get replaced. You're like, it's been on the market for 3 days. You think we get it for half price? Probably not. It's been on the market for 3 days. Okay, well, fine. Right, so I get that all the time. What about this one? Zillow screenshots. Always respond right away. Hey, I'm driving right now. Hey, I'm on a call. I'll get right back to you, and then leave that text as unread. You guys all know how to leave a text as unread? Like swipe to the side and tap it. But make sure you respond to them right away. Hey, can you call me? I'm super busy right now. Can I call you in half an hour? Right? So you don't have to engage them, but to respond is super important. That would have gone a long ways with my whole situation. I'm like, hey, any updates? I'll check back and let you know shortly. Right? Some sort of response to know, hey, you are an important customer and you matter and, I see you. Right? Your sellers really need to be seen. That's why we talked about yesterday on your Tuesday updates. They're always asking, what have you done for me lately? I think Ellen's got that written on her board, right? They want to know, what have you done for me lately? I'm going to pay you 20, 30, 40,000 bucks to sell my property. What have you done for me lately? Is that a fair question for a seller to ask that's going to pay you that kind of money if you close the deal? And then that should require you to go, what can I do to get this place sold? What am I missing? I realized one of my listings yesterday, because I'm like, okay, it's priced pretty well. It's in a decent location. And I realized I never put it on LoopNet. So it's on the MLS, it's on Crexseed. And then LoopNet is the other major commercial portal. Most of my deals on commercial side come from LoopNet. I put things on Crexseed because it's additional exposure and it's not super expensive. So I was like, shoot. So I put on my calendar, to make sure that that was up on LoopNet by Thursday. And so I let my client know, like, hey, we've got some other marketing things that I'm going to get ramped up this week. By the way, I talked to the guy that wanted to buy it. He's not in a position to do it. The other people that looked at it, it was 2-story on the side they needed to use. They needed like more single-story space. So he got a good update, right? He's confident. He knows what I've done for him. I gave him feedback for our past 2 showings. These showings were a couple months ago. So it was Christmas, it was Thanksgiving, then it was Christmas. And so I had on my calendar to follow up with these people. So I'm going to call my seller, but first I follow up with these 2. And then I think for 5 minutes, like, what are we missing? What are we missing? And so I go check the website. So I'm like, oh, that's right. I haven't put it up on LoopNet yet. That should get us another batch of activity on it. Some more leads for me to reach out to and more things for me to update my client with in the future. So when you got some listing and it's not selling, you've got to answer that question every Tuesday with your client. What have you done for me lately? One of them, it's off market and it's not quite ready. And I said, hey, thinking about you. Hope you had good holidays. I don't think we're ready to go back on market. Like, we haven't quite thought enough for a house on a golf course yet. How are you feeling? He's like, nope, totally up to you. You just text me when it's going to happen and we're good to go. Right? I'm like, okay, cool. I'll check it with you in 2 weeks. So I'm not going to call you next week. I'll call you the following because we're off market. Cool. But he got a good update because I thought about it. I'm like, okay, we put EC Street back up on the market, Jacksonville. It's in town. That makes sense. She's like, hey, I want this thing to sell. Let's get it going. But this other one, it's a little bit more unique and it's a higher price point. So we're waiting for the right time, right? Because now the holidays are over. January is still kind of I've been hearing this a lot, shoulder season, where like people haven't quite paid their credit card bill for December. Yeah, got to figure out their finances. So then February-ish, kind of depending on weather and interest rates, may be the time for that one to hit. And the reason we're talking about timing on a house on the golf course is I looked at all the homes on golf courses that sold in the past couple of years, and all of them that sold relatively quickly were listed between March and June. So that's a quarter. This is my visualization of a quarter. And so I'm like, oh, interesting. So I do some research. I take some notes. He wanted to try, so we throw it on the market. No showings, pull it off the market to save our days on market because buyers look at that. How long has it been on the market? The longer it's been on the market, the less it's worth in the eyes of a buyer. Because if it was worth what you're asking for, it would have sold right away. So the longer it takes, the more they're like, get ready. I got some people sharpening knives on our Hillcrest listing right now. It's like, we're going to freaking destroy your soul. I'm like, okay, round it up. But it's been on the market 230 days. So like, oh, opportunity knocks. So that's like what thoughtfulness is required. As Joe on. Anybody got questions or weird stuff they want to talk about?
I have a question. How long does it take for the days on market to start over? I didn't know there was an amount of time that had to pass.
It has to be canceled or expired. So it can't be withdrawn. So withdrawn means the listing agreement is still active, it just can't be shown. So canceled or expired for 61 days.
Okay.
And if we do that, we have to let our clients know. Of course, Jenna just leaves because Jenna just did this. When you cancel or expire listing the MLS, like we do on inventory creation day, that is public record. So now every real estate agent knows, hey, if it's canceled or expired, there's no longer a listing agreement in play. We have people that clearly want to sell a home. It was just listed for sale with a realtor. Let's call them and see if we can get their business. That's why we call it cancels and expires and for sale by owners. They're like, I am actively attempting to sell my home. That's what you call a bottom of the funnel lead. Like, you're not wondering, they haven't not thought about buying or not thought about selling like a lot of people. You just, right, when you start, like Haley's gonna start, she's gonna call her sphere, 200 people. A lot of them haven't thought about buying or selling. Now, when she calls them, they'll start thinking about buying or selling, and eventually they'll do transactions with her, right? So that's like a colder lead in a sense that they're not actively in the hunt for real estate. But when you have expires and cancels, they very much are so. They're willing to work with a real estate agent, and you know they want to sell. You typically can see what they were asking price-wise, and you can see the photos and description of the house. So you kind of have everything you need to figure out why the home didn't sell. Most of the time it's price, but sometimes other things. Like I had a house in Gold Hill. I I think in Gold Hill, the streets are that, and they had it written out in the address, and you couldn't find it. You couldn't find it. Because they're like, hey, these people called me. They were listed with another agent. Like, hey, our listing's going to expire in a week. We're going to need to, find another realtor. I'm like, okay, cool. I'd be happy to help you. So I get the address from them, and I just do a little bit of research. And because I'm in the MLS all the time, the way I do a search, nothing pops up. And so I actually had to search the real estate agent's name in the member directory, and then click on view his listings to see it. Because the price was pretty good. The photos were a little janky because the sellers took some of their own photos and thought they were so good they wanted the seller's agent to use the seller's photos and the pro photos. So you have beautiful picture, shitty shot. Right? Beautiful, shitty shot. People are like, oh, well, I've already got photos. I'm like, we don't need them. Trust me. We can't do anything with your cell phone pictures or, whatever. But the biggest thing was, I was like, this is going to be easy. She said, why? Joe. She said,
Recording in progress.
what can you do? And I said, the first thing I see right off the bat is the data input is incorrect on this and you can't find it. Oh, shit. Then they got sued and they kept that real estate agent. But I think they changed it and sold it. So it's not always price. Sometimes it's just a little bit, having a little bit